Long ball number one here for Friday. Club football returns after the long international break. All the football's crashing on us. Where should we start? Should we start in Italy? AC Milan taking
Sure.
on Juventus Saturday, high
Ooh.
noon. Will this be dancing onto your television?
I want to just start busting out the national anthem like right now. Or which one is your favorite patriotic song, Robert? Which one did they when they made? I don't know. You were. I don't know your history. I don't know if you got indoctrinated with all of our patriotic songs in elementary school or not. But My Country, 'Tis of Thee. What else is This Land is my land. This land is your land.
If I was to pick one out of those bunches, I would go with the hippie version, and This Land Is Your Land.
Okay, you like that one? That one is much more sing-songy than some of the other ones, where you kind of have to be able to belt it out. What's the one they sing at seventh inning stretch at baseball games now because George Steinbrenner was a crazy guy?
Take
Remember
me out to
that?
the ball game?
No, 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 no. They do. The Yankees always have some opera dude, or they used to anyway. When I was watching baseball, come out and sing one of the songs. God bless America. Of course, it's that one. God bless America. That's what we're going to get in Italy, right, with this game. God bless America. Christian Pulisic, Yunus Musa, with Weston McKennie and Tim Weah on the other side. Hopefully, they're all starting. Hopefully, we get to celebrate American soccer on this day, a noon kickoff. Clear the schedules. There's other things happening. Clear the
Producer
schedules.
Jenny likes America the Beautiful should be our national anthem.
I have heard that argument. That is a possibility. I've read a lot about some possibilities for our national anthem since our national anthem seems to not be the best. But go ahead, talk more about soccer.
Okay, so Milan versus Juventus, 12 o'clock, 7th versus 6th. Milan trying to gain some ground. They are at 5-3-3 in Serie A so far. They've shown lots of individual talent, some great moments, but they haven't been able to get the results to push them into that top four in Italy.
Yeah.
My question for this, I think should be an entertaining game. Lots of games competing at this time slot, but I want to ask you, will we see a Silvio Berlusconi dance?
Oh, does that exist? What is that?
I mean, he was a wedding singer, so I'm sure there's some sort of a
Oh,
thing going on.
he was a lot of things, Silvio Berlusconi. He was many, many things. Pornographer or something verging on that, perhaps. I don't know. You could get into weird territory.
I think
with Silvio.
philanderer is a better term.
No, but I mean, his television products were often extremely, he pushed the envelope.
Suggestive.
Yeah, he liked to push the envelope. Lots of bouncing babes. That kind of vibe. No, I think I think this is potentially a high scoring game. I don't think either one of these teams defends all that well, and so there's a very good chance that we will get some goals, which could be entertaining. In terms of what it means for these teams in the standings, we've talked about it, Rob. It's pretty clear that these teams are a significant step back from Inter, who's right now in fourth because there's a log jam at the very top. But and I know Juventus is only a point off of that group, but Inter and Napoli especially seem to be ahead of Juve and AC Milan. I do think both those teams are potentially top four teams, but I'm not trying to discount Atalanta. I'm not trying to discount Fiorentina. I'm not trying to discount even Lazio right now, 25 points, fifth place.
I know a lot of attention gets drawn to the Premier League for, obvious reasons. It's really access, and the television product is great, and it's been on television regularly for longer. But some of the teams at the top in Italy are really exciting teams. You just bulleted them off. There's some of the best attacking talent in the world there right now.
We are unfortunately here in America. We are very easily manipulated towards the league where the people speak English. And
Anglophiles.
A lot of Anglophiles. Some of us are English. That guy over there. Others of us are just Anglophiles, and then but I do think it matters that it's easier to follow a league where everything is happening in the language you speak. So, for English speakers, it's natural to gravitate towards the Premier League. I think it's also natural for Spanish speakers, this country and other places, to gravitate towards La Liga, right? Barcelona, Real Madrid are massive in Latin America because they can directly engage with what the stories are around those teams rather than having to get it through a filter. And I think it's part of Serie A's problem is that there's a lot of things happening. It's super fascinating. The Italians, they know a drama, right? They know how to make everything fascinating. Silvio Berlusconi is a perfect example, and yet we get it through a filter, and then we feel like it's not quite the same as listening to some chap talk about Aston Villa or whatever.
Getting blokey with the commentary. Also at that 12 o'clock slot in the aforementioned England, Manchester City sitting in second, welcoming Tottenham Hotspur sitting in 10th.
Yeah.
Will your eyes get drawn away from Italy for this one?
I'm gonna check in on that one. I mean, talk about drama, talk about interesting things. Pep Guardiola signed his contract, so he's not leaving at the end of this season, at least based on what he's just decided to do with that new deal. Spurs, man, how do you describe Spurs? Feast or famine? Tottenham Hotspur, going away to play at the Etihad. Obviously, very difficult for them. They just had the whole thing with Betancourt and the 7-game suspension because of what he said about Son's cousins. I guess I don't know. I mean, wow,
Likenesses.
I know they're filing an appeal, which doesn't make sense. If you're saying he did it, he did it, and then there are players in the team. Evan Davis, I think, said this, that are trying to move forward. They're like, we're just going to put it behind us. Oh, yeah, then why is the club appealing Betancourt's suspension to try to get it reduced by what probably won't be more than one game? So I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense for me. But in terms of where these two teams are, City is still very much a contender to win this title. If they drop points at home to Spurs and Liverpool takes care of their business, we will start to talk about whether things are getting too stretched for City. But I think the stats on this are there have been 6 times. This is the 6th time that a team has been 5 points up after 11 rounds. And all of those other times, the 5 other times it's happened before, the team ahead at this point won the title. Right? That's what the history says. I know you love that, Rob, because you're a
Don't
Liverpool guy.
I know, but don't taunt me with these sort of things.
Well,
I
but
mean,
hold on,
my
but
team also leads all-time second place finishes as well.
that's right. I also have another stat though, right? That stat is that City has trailed the leader by at least 5 points, often more, every time they've won the title in the last 6 years. So City knows how to track down a team that has taken a 5-point or more lead on them. They know how to do that. And yet history says that if a team has this much of a lead at the 11-game mark, they win the title. So those are competing factoids, Robert. Now, one of them is good for your Liverpool. One of them is not so good because City knows how to do this job.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my heart broken on many occasions, so I'm not gonna get too excited like that. The Bella Ciao comment in the comments there. Well done there. That made me smile. So we get to the third game I wanted to highlight. Last place, welcoming the first place team Sunday at 9 a.m. Southampton and Liverpool. Is this a quote unquote banana skin? Is there going to be an international break hangover? I mean, the only defeat Liverpool has incurred this season has been off the back of an international break. Do you
Yes.
foresee this being possible?
Well, that one slip by Liverpool was off the back of an international break against a team that is currently sitting in 5th place. Now, that's a surprise. No one expects Nottingham Forest to be in 5th place at this point in the season on 19 points. But it clearly means Nottingham Forest is better than anybody gave them credit for back when they beat Liverpool at Anfield. And by the way, that 3 points that they got at Anfield is the reason they are in 5th and not down there with Tottenham in mid-table. So, yes, right, it's a small enough sample size to not be sure. But I don't see any reason to think Southampton is a challenge for Liverpool at this point. So there you go. Yeah, and yes, thank you to Rupesh. Berlusconi did die. I failed to mention it. I guess R.I.P. Silvio Berlusconi. It depends on how you feel about what he did to Italy and Italian politics.